I went to boarding school where I went from class 2 to class 12, and we had one television set that we'd all kind of share in the house. We had a great program called Different Strokes, and we had an Indian TV channel called Doordarshan that we all know. That was one TV channel we had. Different Strokes right there. We had a news program called The World This Week, and yeah, once every 4 years, we had the Soccer World Cup that I'd stay awake late up at night to watch on a grainy television set. We had no internet, believe it or not, no internet, no mobile phones, and horror, we didn't have EPN. Imagine we survived all this. Then something happened, something happened. Something I'd like to call the fourth industrial revolution, something that Alvin Toffler calls the growling engine of change, that's technology, or something closer to your heart, the internet happened. From the beginning of time till 2003, there were 5 billion gigabytes of data generated as information on the internet. 5 billion gigabytes of data. Now that same 5 billion gigabytes of data gets generated every 10 minutes. That's the level of information that the internet processes on a daily basis every 10 minutes. There are more mobile phones than toothbrushes and toilets in India. Interesting facts, right? And here's what happens in an internet minute. By the time I finish this slide, 770,000 people would have gone on Facebook, 70,000 people would have watched a movie on Netflix, 150 million emails would have been exchanged, 1,400 rides would have happened on Uber, Amazon would have put $203,000 in sales, and so on and so forth. It's going to go huge and huge. That's the possibility of a minute. And also, at the same time, there'll be 1.9 billion people logging onto Facebook, onto a platform called Facebook that someone called Mark Zuckerberg conceptualized when he was 90, maybe a couple of years elder than people here, in his Harvard dorm, in his vision to connect the world and make the world a more open and connected place. That's the first page of the Facebook. It's something Mark thought about when he was thinking in the Harvard dorm room. And we now at Facebook take his vision forward along with him through 3 parts: connectivity, there's artificial intelligence, and virtual reality. Yeah. The first one is about connecting the planet. There's 7.2 billion people on the planet right now, out of which only 3.2 billion people are connected. There's still 4 billion people to be connected. And as we go every day, the entire objective is to connect through terrestrial, through satellite, and through way of other means. These 2 odd billion remaining people of the planet, 4 odd billion people on the planet. Artificial intelligence. Have you ever wondered how it is to browse the internet when you can't see anything, when you are visually impaired? Why should they not be given the chance? And that's what we've done on using AI to actually make it easy for people to browse on Facebook and on the internet. So that's an example of what has been happening. So then you have someone asking the question, what is the baby doing? And the AI is responding, saying brushing teeth, having a bath, in the bathroom. So you can actually have people visualize what's going on their mobile screen. And this is the cool part, the virtual reality. How do you connect two people? So you had times where people would send SMSs to each other, that went into sending pictures to each other, then you started sharing videos. The next step of sharing is virtually being there, and this next video will show this to you. So there's something called Oculus Rift that's been developed, and that's an example of 2 people who are wearing the Oculus headgear and the handgear, and there they're playing ping pong together. And they're in two different parts of the world, mind you. That's virtual reality for you. Two people in different places, actually playing a game of ping pong and actually shooting around castles the way they want to. So here's the difference. I want to illustrate this. So when I grew up, the world was different, and the change of power that's happened. And when my son, who's 11, who's just turned 11, grows up, all much like you, and you see how the change is happening. So for example, when I grew up, it was about hoarding. Power was about being hoarded and held by a few. Yeah? So few people had the power and they hoarded it. No one shared it. When my son grows up, this is what happens. It's made by many and shared openly. We are in the sharing economy, right? You share your knowledge, you don't hoard it. When I grew up, things were about being closed and inaccessible. When my son grows up, what happens? It's open and participatory. When I grew up, it was all about being leader-driven. There was one person who had a vision, and you followed the leader. But now when my son grows up, what happens? It's peer-driven. You share, you work together. We are in very, very disruptive times. There's no better time than to be alive than today. The world is changing as we know it, and it's up to you all to make the most of this. You can either choose to wait there on the side and watch it happen, or take part in it. This is an example. This is our main signage at the Facebook headquarters, 1 Hacker Way at Menlo Park. The story behind this is very interesting. So when we took over this building, there was Sun Microsystems, which used to be a very, very famous software company once upon a time, that went bust a few years back, that used to be housed in this place. What we did as a constant reminder of in these times of disruption, of how you always got to be on your feet and be aware of the changes that are happening, we retained the sign. And the Sun Microsystems sign still stays at Facebook 1 Hacker Way. We've turned it around. The Facebook signage is on the front. And whenever you drive out of the Facebook office, you see the system of Sun. You see the logo right there that constantly reminds you the day you switch off is the day you will be in the back side, rather the front side of the signage. Very, very important to keep in mind. Change, I think someone spoke about it, is our biggest fear, yet our greatest need. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better. Keep questioning yourself. It is very important. Don't give up. Failure is an option here. Unlike what you've been hearing till now, failure is actually an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. The biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. In a world that's changing really quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is a strategy where you take no risks at all. And finally, I'll leave you all with one very, very important question. When you go to sleep or wake up in the morning, ask yourself just this one question. What would you do if you weren't afraid?